Most people are like, oh, he cares about me. Oh, he loves me. And the hard part is the reality is narcissist doesn't. And now what I mean by that is you might get caught up in the whole piece of like, oh, a narcissist is caring about me, a narcissist is loving me. There might be all these different things of like, oh, wait a second. He said he loved me, and all these things come out early on in the relationship. But the reality is typically a facade. It's typically a lie that the narcissist puts together to try to appear a certain way, to try to appear more connected, to try to appear more loving, to try to appear the way that he needs to appear to be able to get you and to be able to leave you stuck in a toxic relationship. You see, the majority of the time when a narcissist is interacting with you, he's typically assessing how can I use, abuse, control this person to be able to get what I want on the back end, to be able to get how I either want their money, how they want the sex, how I want whatever it might be. It's like typically a narcissist is looking at like, how can I use this person to get what I want? Now, the reality of how a narcissist is thinking about it is not like, oh, this poor person or anything like that. They're just thinking like, hey, you're here on this earth to be able to serve me and to be able to do what I want you to do. This is when you step into the entitlement piece when we're talking through narcissistic personality disorder, where he's so entitled to everything. Like, you don't have your own money. He controls your money. He controls his money. Like, what's yours is his, what his is his. Because in reality, he thinks that he owns you. And so that's a little bit of what we're going to talk about today when we're stepping into just the mindset of a toxic person, the mindset of a narcissist, and what that might look like. So you got a couple of questions coming in. If you're on Instagram and you want to be able to reach out sometime to me, so I just be able to talk to you, figure out what's going on and see if I can help, shoot me a DM that says break free. On any other platforms, you have to shoot me an email at ben@rawmotivations or jump over to Instagram because that's one that we talk to people the most. Okay. I'm going to run through these quick because y'all are all ready, piling them on. Okay. So will jail change narcissists? Typically, no, they won't do anything like that because jail isn't enough of a wake up call for the person to actually be honest. How do you know 100% narcissist, no empathy? How do you know, like talking about me? Well, I know because diagnosed, and I know because of all the self-work that I've been doing of what I'm actually dealing with. Do they get their karma? A lot of times what you define as their karma is not what they're going to get, and you'll spend too much time focusing on that you won't get your healing. Will you be different or better for the next girl than what he wants you to think? But in reality, that person, he hasn't changed. He's still the same liar. He's still the same person going to the next relationship. Why does he call? Just to yell and devalue you so he can feel better about himself by putting you down so he can try to elevate his ego, make you feel less than? Is it true for a covert or only an overt? I missed if there was more with that because that didn't really ask a question. Sorry. Why won't his parents believe me that he has a serious problem? Why will they be okay if there's something narcissist? They probably don't even know what it is, or they're probably narcissistic themselves and you just don't realize that, or they've hidden it, or it's just the enabling behavior of like, well, we know, but we want to be able to keep it hidden so that we don't have to deal with it. We don't have to actually acknowledge it. How do I rationalize being the victim of two different narcissists? Both of them obviously gaslighted to convince me that I was the problem. I need to fix my self-esteem. Would love to have you reach out. Shoot me a DM that says break free or click on the link in the bio to go to escapetoxicity.com. It's our 7-day challenge for $7. It'll start you down that healing process of building your esteem back up. How do you help a narcissist? If a narcissist isn't willing to be honest to themselves, they're not willing to be honest to you, there is no way that you can actually help. The majority of people on here that are like, oh, let me help my narcissist, you're only going to enable the abuse even more because you've already been in a love toxic relationship. It's not going to get better. He's still going to use it to abuse you. Can they be pathological liars? 100%. A lot of them are, and very habitual liars. Why does he love bomb and devalue me within hours? A lot of times you'll see the cycle get shorter and shorter and shorter, just because he doesn't care, for one. But then for two, as it gets shorter and shorter, he's spiraling more and more and more. Okay. Mine looks at my socials every couple of months, blocks and unblocks. Is that hoovering? It could be, as far as like reverse hoovering, like he wants you to reach out. I would just go ahead and block him. Stop waiting for him to either come back or not come back. We were together for 9 years and now he says he doesn't want me anymore after recently getting married and having a son together. A lot of times that happens, as far as like he'll just flip. It's ridiculous. It really is, and it's awful. Why don't they show affection? There's a lot of different reasons why. Sometimes it might be because they're already given to someone else because they're cheating on you. A lot of times it's because they don't want to actually open up. They don't want to be vulnerable because vulnerability exposes shame, all that kind of stuff. Can BPD look a lot like NPD? Yes, 100%. Toxic BPD can look very narcissistic. Both of them are very negative traits, and you're going to see a lot of them come out very abusive in a negative way. Why don't they repay loans? This way they will do with no indication of exactly when. It's to keep you on the hook. A lot of times to keep communication there. And plus, they think they're entitled to your money, so they don't really think it's that big of a deal. They don't really think it's a problem. Just found an air tag in my car. We've been separated for 2 years. Wouldn't be surprised. A lot of times they want to stalk. A lot of times narcissists think knowledge is power. So when he's possessive over you and when he's like stalking you, it's like, oh, I know where she is, so I have control. Even though he doesn't have control, it's like mind games that actually goes on inside his head. If you want to actually break free from toxicity, I want to invite you to go to the Escape Toxicity course that we have. It's 7-day challenge, $7 for you to actually start down the road of your healing and your growth. Why are they afraid of being spoken to about God? They don't want to have anything to do with religion. A lot of them don't want to have anything to do with religion because religion, first and foremost, will expose a lot of the shame, the guilt, and a lot of the shit that they're doing. And so a lot of times a narcissist doesn't want to expose to that. Also, and we talk about religion, we talk about having a God or a deity or a source, anything like that. Narcissist doesn't want that because he's his own God. He's the own person that's in the center of his universe. So having something that comes in on that and actually pushes him out is a big no-no that he doesn't want to deal with. Why porn, but doesn't want to human touch and love? It's a lot of different things that goes into that. That's not just narcissistic, but a lot of times we'll see narcissists that will go off of like the immediate high, the immediate pleasure, the immediate like gratification, but also just like the high of getting away with it, of like sneaking around and doing that in one sense. Why smear me outrageously after a breakup, but then talk to my friends about wanting to be friends? Because he wants to look good to other people, but he doesn't care about like you. And so a lot of times they'll be like, let me put you down, but then he's trying to connect with either some of you, with some of your friends. You said my friends. He's trying to connect with some of your friends to either get back with you, interact, just even trigger you. Do you think that a person with NPD and BPD could have a good relationship with counseling? If there's not honesty there, then no, which typically that's not going to happen inside of NPD. And typically BPD and NPD are like polarizing magnets that just make it spin constantly. It's like it never stops. NPD loves being able to control the BPD. BPD is afraid of getting rejected by the NPD. So like still keeps coming back around. The narcissist is like, this is great supply. You punch it and it keeps coming back. Like that's the idea in one sense. A lot of times BPD doesn't really help. How to go to court for a protective order with a narcissist, the manipulation. You can't do it over emotional manipulation. It has to be like physical. It has to be something that's more provable in court. Unfortunately, they don't really take like emotional abuse in court. How easy is it for one narcissist to read another narcissist? Our previous pastor, who was a narcissist, said my husband could move back to his home without me and wouldn't care if I came with them. A lot of times narcissists can identify other narcissists, especially like not necessarily like well-educated one, but like ones that are tapped in to be able to understand how the other person's showing up. Sometimes it's almost even like an energy thing. You can just kind of tell there's like a shift of how this person is. A lot of times, like on a couples session, when I talk to couples at times, like I can typically tell within the first like 5 minutes max. Like it normally doesn't take that long. I just get them talking and start to see different eye movements, different gestures, different smirks, a lot of different things that come out. And I'm like, yep, something's actually going on there. So a lot of times narcissists can identify other ones.